Hi, did you know that 90% of drownings take place in a swimming pool, bathtubs, and rivers? Yeah, I did not know that that was true, but it definitely is. So hopefully I won't drown in my bathtub tonight, but if I do, I guess it'll be 91%. So that would suck. So yeah, welcome to this week's episode of Nevermind a Broadcast, and I'm your host, Izzy Smut. So this week, I'm going to take a different direction because usually I have punk songs and punk rockers talking, but I don't want to do something that is standardized. I wanted to go in a different direction this week's episode because I like talking to interesting people as well. I like having conversation, getting to know other people as well. So I talked to Sean and his project called Orcumentary, and basically he does his music himself, and it's basically what Orcumentary is for people who wish bad guys won in The Lord of the Rings. So I was like, fuck yeah, this guy sounds interesting. It may not be punk music, but it's still awesome. It reminds me of a movie soundtrack. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit this guy up and we're gonna talk. And he hit me up and I was like, you know what, let's talk because I'm down to talk to people who are interesting. So this first song is called When There's a Whip, There's a Way.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip,
we don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay.
where there's a whip, we're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. There's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night and more. But we are the slaves of the dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. What have we here? Two deserters. Up with you, get in line. It's a long march to the Black Gate. Pick up the pace, you slugs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight. We're gonna march all day and night and more. 'Cause we are the slaves of the dark Lord's war. Faster, faster now. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will,
We don't wanna go to war today, because the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay.
we're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a will, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Yippee! Let's kill some humans!
So that was When There's a Whip, There's a Way. And this next song is called The Time of the Orc Has Come. So this is coming out of the EP that's coming out August 25th, which is why I wanted to release this episode to celebrate that. And his songs are getting tons of plays on Spotify. It reminds me of a movie soundtrack. Like, this guy is talented. He writes everything himself. I'm like, yes, that takes so much courage and balls to do because a lot of people rely on others. So that's what I wanted to instill in this episode, is to feel free to write your own damn music and release it. Stop relying on others to wait or wait around and sit in your songs forever. Fuck that. If you have music, release it. All right. So after this song, I'm going to play the interview. So this is The Time of the Orc Has Come. So now upcoming next is Sean from Orcumentary.
So my name is Sean Orc Adams, not my birth name, but So I am a songwriter, vocalist, keyboardist. Orcumentary is my solo project, which it has fantasy-themed lyrics, kind of centered around orcs, like in Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Researching it too. You've been around. You've been doing this since 2006.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Yeah.
That's. I think I'm not sure if I may have seen you. Did you remember the venue South Street Stage in Waterbury?
Oh yeah, I've definitely played a few shows there. I remember that. That was back in. I think that was like 2008 or 2009. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I even played some shows in there in like 2010 and stuff.
Yeah, and I think I've seen a couple of your shows, and you're always killing it. I mean, not like your voice. I mean, I can't even. It's cool. Like I can't like no one else can do your awesome the growl and the deepness of it. It's so awesome.
Thanks. It's weird because when I started Orcumentary, so that was Orcumentary was really me really just writing music on my own for the first time. I didn't really have any ambitions. I didn't have any like musical inspirations. I wasn't like, I love this band, I want to kind of sound like them. It really was that I was just a nerdy kid who liked Lord of the Rings, and up to that point I had taken piano lessons for like 10 or 11 years, and I wanted to just try to do something different. And I wrote a couple songs, and I thought they were decent, and then I was thinking, maybe this can be something. So, I didn't take it seriously at all at first. I think maybe like the first year and a half, I was making songs and stuff, but I didn't play a show until I think maybe 2008. So, and the voice. So the voice, so with Orcumentary, it's not like me, like as myself, performing. It's like I'm in character. Like all of these songs are from the perspective of character Orc Adams that I created, and the voice is in a rasp and everything. So yeah, I mean, so that's really where it came out of. Like, it wasn't like I heard some vocalist that made me want to do that. It's just something that kind of evolved from that.
But listening to your songs, you have I love how you're so different than everybody else, because everybody else, has like you said, you don't want to sound like anybody else. You want to do your own thing. And your piano playing is just amazing, and and the songs too, it's just musically it's like awesome, because it's unlike anything I've ever heard before, and it kind of brings you on a journey. You're like, you feel like you're one of the orcs, just traveling, like just getting through the day.
Yeah, well, part of that definitely has to do with my classical background, I guess you could say. I mean, even in my prime, for lack of a better term. Like I took piano lessons from age 7 to age 18, and I was no virtuoso, but I mean, I used to be able to play really well. I've lost a fair amount of that talent because really focusing on songwriting and stuff. I just enjoy that so much more. I guess maybe because of my unconventional background, like I'm not going to pretend like, I'm like so incredibly unique, nobody sounds like me. I think I think maybe my unconventional background, like I wasn't really drawing any inspiration from any particular artist. Like kind of like right at the beginning of Orcumentary is when I first really got into metal, but that wasn't really even an influence in the very beginning. And I don't know, I think as I got into metal more and just getting into music a lot more, as you listen to a lot of music, I guess you notice a lot of cliches in songwriting and all that sort of stuff. And so I tried to think of kind of different ways to do things, different ways to write songs, write melodies. So, like when I approach a song, I always have in the back of my head, what can I do differently on this song that I've never done before? And, it can be something, but, like having that kind of mindset rather than just kind of like, okay, I have these boxes I have to check to create a song. I think that might make a bit of a difference.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite song that you've written and played out at shows?
Favorite song that I've written?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played too many shows during and after the pandemic, but yeah, I used to play a lot. I used to play a lot more than I have, but hopefully with the release of the next EP, I'm planning on playing a lot more shows. In terms of Orcumentary songs, it's hard to say. There's just, I like every song for different reasons, and some of them work in a live setting, some maybe aren't as fun to play live, but I have really been enjoying playing The Time of the Orc Has Come. So the way that the way that song, I mean, you might have heard it, it's very like kind of bombastic and almost has like this marching sort of tone. And usually when I perform, I'm behind a keyboard. And with this song, what I've been doing lately is I've been stepping out from behind the keyboard, like closing the set with this song and engaging with the crowd a bit more while doing the vocals. And, there haven't actually been a whole lot of brand new Orcumentary songs since 2015. A lot of the songs that I've done are re-recordings, like on Fully Orchestrated there. So The Time of the Orcas Come is one of only like 2 brand new songs that I've written in that time. The second song is on the EP that's coming out. But yeah, I think of what I play with Orcumentary, The Time of the Orcas Come is probably my favorite.
Awesome. And when is that coming out? Just to let everybody know, or if it's already out.
So it's not out yet. Currently, the release date is August 25th. I may have to push it out to September 1st, which would just be a week later. So I would say August 25th for now, but, we'll see how things go. That's what I'm shooting for right now.
And are you doing a record or CD or tapes or just digital?
So it'll be digital, of course, but it will be on CD as well. So the CD version is going to have a couple bonus tracks on it. Usually what I like to do when I make physical copies of any, at least Orcumentary music, is I like to have something additional on the CD version. So the EP is going to have 5 songs. It's going to have a brand new song called Orcumentary. So the EP is actually self-titled, and it's going to have 3 re-recorded songs from the old days. Blood, the Orc Belated Birthday song, those 2 are online right now. You can listen to those. And Fit of Frenzied Rage. Those are all from my 2010 album. So if you saw me at South Street Stage, you might even recognize a couple of those songs because they're very old.
I probably will. I got to listen to them again and be like, oh my God, I remember those days.
It's just crazy to think how much time has passed. And that it's not even just like as a musician how much I've changed, but I mean even like production value. I've released a few albums before. Like if you look on Spotify right now, you'll just see Fully Orchestrated and the 2 new singles and a couple other songs. But I've released a few albums before that, and I love those songs. I'm really proud of those songs, but the production quality is very rough, and I think that has put some people off in the past. Because you want to hear something with good production quality.
Yeah, and then when I listened to your songs, I was like, damn, I'm like, I feel like you know what I mean? It's kind of like a whole experience. It's epic. It's just like you feel the experience. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds you like a movie soundtrack in a way, but it's like, it's kind of cool. Like it would fit in the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, which I love. So
Fully Orchestrated is more of a outlier rather than, I guess, what my usual sound is. So that album is like all symphonic instruments. That was an idea I've had, 12 or 13 years ago. I had the pun in my head, fully orchestrated, with like an orchestra. And I never thought to use it. It just kind of sat there in the back of my head, this idea for a symphonic album. Writing and recording and arranging those songs, that's what got me through the pandemic. I learned a lot about, because I recorded everything in my home studio except for vocals. So that was kind of the idea. You're talking about like film soundtrack and, kind of bringing you on a journey and all that kind of stuff. I definitely am a big fan of soundtrack music myself. And that's kind of what I was going for, is something that, you have like these grunt kind of vocals and somehow it works when mashed up with symphonic music.
It really does. And would you do like, have you done videos or anything, or having anything released in that regard, like a music video?
Yeah, so I haven't done too many music videos. I have, for an older song, I have a song I released back in 2013 called Goblin Death March. That was a heavier song, but with the rough production quality. But there's a cool music video that it kind of plays out like a Super Nintendo game, like you're this orc like killing goblins and stuff, and it's got the 8-bit or 16-bit graphics, and like having that sort of orc imagery is really I think is really important. But I do have I've had like lyric videos and stuff made, but I did a cover of this somewhat obscure song from So like one of the Lord of the Rings movies in like the 70s and the 80s, there were animated versions, like cartoons and stuff. And there was a song that the orcs sang in one of those called "Where There's a Whip, There's a Way." And I think I was trying to just have enough songs to fill up an album. Like fully orchestrated is kind of short, but I was trying to think of like what else to do, because I had like 6 of my own songs that I rearranged to be symphonic. I had the new song, "The Time of the Orc Has Come," and then "Where There's a Whip" was kind of a last minute thing. And I really like the arrangement. I think that I made it my own. I made it more interesting, I guess, kind of playing with the arrangement a little bit. Surprisingly, it's really taken off. Like, I never would have expected this, but like on Spotify, I've gotten 36,000 plays. There is a "Where There's a Whip, There's a Way" music video that's got like 15,000 plays. I've got way more monthly Spotify listeners than a lot of other bands in the New England scene. So I suppose that's something.
That's definitely huge. I mean, a lot of people found the song and loved it, and I loved it myself. So, I mean, that's great. Let me ask this random question: how many orcs does it take to kill a goblin?
Probably half an orc, I would say.
Nice. But where can people find besides Spotify, where can people buy your music and check you out?
So right now, I only have one live appearance scheduled. That's going to be Saturday, September 2nd at the Teen Music Festival in Keene, New Hampshire. I'm working on a Connecticut date for September. So I would say, if anyone keeps an eye on my socials, I'll definitely announce it there. In terms of where to consume the music, it's on all the usual digital platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, what have you. I do have music in merch on my Bandcamp page, and I also have more of a personal merch website where I have, CDs and shirts and, winter hats and all that kind of stuff. That's orcumentary.bigcartel.com.
Cool. And is there anything else you want to promote while I have you on here? Because it was great talking to you, because I learned so much about, like your music and, because like I usually put on punk bands, but it's good to get, metal bands as well. I mean, a lot of people like to create a separation, and I'm like, why? So it's good to talk to you. And anything you want to promote? So
I would just say thanks for having me on your show. Thanks to everyone who's listening. And I would say stay tuned. August 25th, Orcumentary is going to be releasing a new self-titled EP. Keep track of all the socials and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be posting more tunes and all that kind of stuff soon.
This will be the episode, and thank you again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.